At 70, something fundamental shifts. Not your body, though that changes too, not your mind, your priorities. But here's what nobody tells you. Most people at 70 still carry the same heavy burdens from their 40s, opinions that don't matter, standards that were never real, and fears that age has already solved. I'm 72 now. 5 years ago, when I turned 70, I sat down and made a list of things I was completely done with. Not gradually phasing out, not eventually, done. The changes weren't dramatic at first, but they compounded. My health improved, my relationships deepened in ways I hadn't experienced in years, and for the first time in decades, I stopped waking up with that familiar anxiety in my chest. This isn't about letting yourself go in the way people usually mean. It's about consciously letting the right things go, the things that never served you. Here are the 5 specific things I stopped doing at 70 and why each one made my life measurably better. Before we begin, please tap the like button. It helps this video reach more seniors who can benefit. And tell me, where are you watching from? Share your city or country in the comments. I love seeing people from all over the world here together. Now, let's begin. Number 1, chasing perfection. For over 60 years, I obsessed over doing things right, getting them perfect. The perfect lawn, not a blade out of place. The perfect dinner party with coordinated napkins. The perfect image as a parent, professional, neighbor. I would redo thank you notes if my handwriting looked messy. I'd stay up late cleaning before guests arrived, even if the house was already clean. I'd apologize for meals that everyone else thought were delicious. At 70, I finally asked myself, who actually decided what perfect even means, and why was I still following their rules? I started cooking meals that tasted good but looked messy on the plate. I stopped redoing tasks that were already 90% done. Good enough became my new standard. I wore comfortable shoes instead of stylish ones, even to events where I used to dress up. And the result? I had more energy at the end of each day. Less stress, less tension in my shoulders. And here's the kicker. Nobody noticed the difference. The people who genuinely loved me didn't love me any less. My friendships didn't suffer. The people who judged me, they were always going to find something to judge anyway. Perfectionism is like a loan you keep paying interest on forever. The principal never decreases, but the payments drain you month after month. At 70, you can finally declare bankruptcy on that debt. Good enough really is good enough. And that's not settling, it's wisdom earned through experience. That simple shift freed up enormous amounts of my time and energy. But the next shift, it rewrites the entire script you've been unconsciously following since your 20s. Number 2, other people's opinions. When you're young, your 20s, 30s, 40s, even 50s, you're visible everywhere. People watch your career, your marriage, your kids, your choices, your body. At 70, something almost magical happens. You become somewhat invisible to the broader world. And that's not a loss, even though society tells you it is. It's actually a superpower. I started saying no to things without offering lengthy explanations or justifications. I stopped defending my hobbies, my schedule, my politics, my appearance, my life choices. When someone asked with barely concealed judgment, "Why don't you dye your hair anymore?" I simply said, "Because I don't want to." Not defensive, not apologetic, not angry, just true and matter-of-fact. And you know what happened? The conversation just ended right there, because they had nowhere to go with it. Here's the deeper truth they don't tell you in your younger years. Most people's opinions about you aren't really about you at all. They're projections of their own insecurities, their own fears, their own unmet expectations. At 70, you've lived long enough to see through this pattern clearly. You've watched trends come and go and come back again. You've seen scandals that had everyone talking, only to be completely forgotten within a week. Other people's opinions are like weather patterns. You don't control the forecast. You just decide whether to go outside or not and what to wear if you do. One of my closest friends spent her entire 60s, a full decade, worried about what her book club thought of her divorce. She agonized over it, modified her behavior, stayed quiet. At 71, she showed up to book club in sweatpants, announced she was dating again, and said plainly, anyone uncomfortable with that can leave. Nobody left. 2 women actually hugged her afterwards. The fear that had controlled her for years was complete fiction. Once you stop performing for strangers and acquaintances, you realize something even more startling. You've also been performing for people you actually love. And that's where the third shift happens. Number 3, trying to please everyone. You've spent literal decades carefully balancing everyone else's needs against your own. Your spouse's preferences, your kids' expectations, your siblings' demands, your friends' assumptions about who you are and what you'll do. At some point along the way, maybe in your 30s, maybe earlier, you became the default yes person in your circles, the one people could count on, the reliable one, the accommodating one. At 70, the math suddenly stops working. You can feel it in your body. I made myself a clear, non-negotiable rule. If saying yes to something makes me feel resentful rather than generous, the answer has to be no. I stopped hosting the big holiday gatherings I had never actually enjoyed. I stopped giving advice that nobody had asked for. I stopped trying to fix other people's problems that weren't mine to solve. Some people in my life were genuinely confused by this shift. A few were hurt, at least initially. There were some awkward conversations, but here's what happened over time. The people who actually valued me as a person, not just as a service provider, they adjusted. They understood. They respected the boundaries. The ones who only valued what I did for them, what I provided, how I made their lives easier, those people gradually drifted away. And that was exactly the point. That was the goal, even though it felt scary at first. You can't please everyone. You never could, even when you were younger and had more energy to try. But at 70, you finally have both permission and necessity to stop trying. Not because you've become selfish or uncaring, because your energy is genuinely finite now, and you've earned the right to spend it intentionally on what truly matters to you. Letting go of chronic people-pleasing opens up enormous space in your life. But the next shift, it rewrites the entire script you've been unconsciously following since your 20s. Number 4, chasing material success. Society tells you from the earliest age, keep climbing, keep earning, keep upgrading. At 70, you look around with clear eyes and realize the finish line was always a mirage. It kept moving every time you got close. I stopped comparing my retirement savings to my neighbors. I stopped upgrading my car every few years. I stopped feeling guilty about not leaving a massive inheritance to my financially stable adult children. Instead, I asked a simple question. What do I actually need to feel both secure and happy? The answer was simpler than expected. A paid-off home I love, enough savings for health care and emergencies, occasional travel to places I want to see, meaningful time with people I genuinely love. Everything else? Completely optional. Material success is a game designed to never end, because if you won, if you felt satisfied, you'd stop consuming. The system needs you to keep consuming. At 70, you can quit the game entirely, not because you failed, because you finally see through it. You've watched people die with full bank accounts and empty relationships. You've seen wealth that didn't prevent loneliness. The stuff never mattered as much as the story told us. Once you stop chasing external success, there's one final thing most people resist even when their body is begging them to stop. Number 5, fear of slowing down. You were raised in a culture that worships productivity. Stay busy, stay relevant, prove your worth through constant output. At 70, your body operates on a different agenda. Different needs, different rhythms, and the fear kicks in. If I slow down, I'll become irrelevant. I'll disappear. I stopped forcing myself to fill every day with activities and obligations. I took naps without guilt. I said no to commitments that would exhaust me. Something unexpected happened. I became so much more present. Conversations with friends got deeper and more meaningful. Walks became meditative experiences rather than exercise to check off. Hobbies transformed into genuine sources of joy. Slowing down didn't make me irrelevant, it made me intentional, it made me available, it made me alive in the moment. Productivity is not an inherent virtue, it's a tool, sometimes useful, sometimes not. At 70, you've already produced enough, you've earned enough, you've proven enough to anyone whose opinion actually matters. Slowing down isn't the beginning of decline, it's conscious design, choosing quality over quantity. Your body is sending you clear messages. Stop sprinting through life. Start actually savoring it. And if you listen to those messages, these years can become the richest, most fulfilling years of your entire life. Let's recap these 5 shifts. At 70, you can stop chasing perfection. Good enough is wise, not weak. You can stop caring what people think. Their opinions were never really about you. You can stop trying to please everyone. Your energy is yours to spend as you choose. You can stop chasing material success. The finish line was always fake. And you can stop fearing slowness. It's not decline, it's clarity and consciousness. I'm not saying life at 70 is easy. There are real challenges, real losses. But I am saying it can be so much lighter than you imagine. Not because your problems disappear, but because you finally know which ones were never real. You've earned this freedom through 7 decades of living. Don't wait for permission to claim it. The life you want, lighter, freer, more authentic, is waiting on the other side of letting go.